Okay.
Okay, you go ahead, Ms. Evans.
Are you sharing your screen?
I'm going to monitor the people coming in, so I don't want it to keep on interrupting the slideshow.
Okay, so I'll share?
Yes.
Okay. Of course.
If it's not opening, I don't mind sharing. We're just going to have to deal with the pop-up.
Oh, here we are.
Oh, okay.
Here we are. So they both came up. Great. All right. So before I do any of that, by the way, before I do this portion, let me take a minute and get off of here. Come back up here and go here. So let me stop sharing for a second so I can just introduce myself to those of you who don't know who I am. My name is Miss Evans. I'm the principal here at PS 138. It's been a very, very long couple of months, so forgive us. I've guaranteed that all of us on here usually look more stupendous than this, but it's been a long ride, so bear with us. But I want to welcome you today. I thought it was important that we got together and discussed a few things about your incoming little ones to our school, our early childhood students, so we can give you some information. And on Friday, we're having our town hall regarding school opening. Please make sure you're there because that's where I'm going to give you the information that I know you're looking for right now. A lot of it is still developing with the DOE, but the answers that I do have, I will share with you then and with our entire school community. So today it's dedicated to just getting you acclimated to our PreK, which is brand new for us this year, our PreK, which we've had for a little bit, and our kindergarten. We have many of our teachers on here, and we have our one of our assistant principals is here, Miss Fleshman. Where are you, Miss Fleshman? There she is waving. She can have a word at any point. She'll jump in, but the teachers will have a chance to introduce themselves, and they'll be doing the slideshow and jumping in and sharing with you. So please put your questions in the chat. And a very, very important thing that I want to say before I forget, if your child is coming in this year brand new and they do not have a device, please, we're asking that you call 311, or we're going to post the link in the chat where you can find the information to request a device from the city. They're typically Wi-Fi ready, so that should not be a problem. If you don't have one, now's the time to do it. They have a few left, and it's first comes, first serve. So if you do not currently have a device that you're going to have your child working with this fall, please, please, right away, get that done. You have to provide an email, and they will email you. And in addition to emailing you, they will then send you a form that you have to sign to say that you are it's on a loaner to you. Once you're done with that, they mail them out to you, and they're usually Wi-Fi ready. So that is paramount. If you have not done so yet, please, please, we're going to put it in the chat, and please go ahead and do that. Having said that, I'm going to put this up, and Ms. Heredia and the others will jump in and we'll get started. So here we are. Somebody say yes, you can see that for me, because I can't see anybody. I'm sharing full screen.
We can't see anything yet.
Okay. All right. All right, so let me share my screen, and then we can get going. Ms. Heredia, oh, here we go. Share my screen. Here we go. Share and share. All right, let's get started. Can we see it now?
Yes.
Perfect. All right, so take it away. I'll take through the slide.
Can you go to the top where it says
Slideshow.
slideshow?
And play from the start.
Yep.
Here we go. All right.
All right. So first, we would like to start with welcoming everyone for joining us today. This is a presentation or orientation that we put together for all of our students coming in for 3K, Pre-K, and K. We know that this is most of the children's first experience in school, so we want to make it as easy and as fun as possible as we can. Would any other teachers like to join in? You could.
Okay.
The first thing we're going to ask you guys is please remain muted. If you have any questions, just put them on the chat. It's to the right-hand side of your computer screen. I have my chat open, so if I see a question pop up, I will try my best to answer it. And if not, we have Ms. Evans and Ms. Fleshman that can jump in and answer those questions for us if they hopefully have the answer.
Ms. Heredia, can you find out if there's any parent on here who needs it in Spanish as we're going along, just so we're honoring every voice that's in the room?
¿Hay alguna persona que necesita que la reunión sea en español también en este momento?
Let me know if we're good, because I can't see you.
I'm waiting to see if anybody... Ok, pues está bien. Pues primero le estamos dando la bienvenida. Le estamos dando la bienvenida por venir a la reunión de hoy. Esta es una orientación para repasar lo que los niños van a hacer en 3K, pre-kinder y kindergarten. Y también para dejarles saber, para que se sientan cómodos y hacer usted una experiencia buena para los niños, pues que esta va a ser su primera experiencia para muchos de los estudiantes. You could go to the next one. Lo que le estamos pidiendo a todos los papás es que por favor mantengan su micrófono en mute, en pausa. Y si tiene alguna pregunta la puede escribir en el lado derecho. Hay una parte para escribir preguntas y nosotros vamos a tratar de contestar las preguntas lo más que podamos. You could go ahead, Ms. Evans. So these are the purpose and intended outcomes. For 3K, Pre-K, and K, we're going to share our expectations with you guys. And I know that many of the teachers are going to jump in. And we're also going to be able to give you the difference between each grade. So that's the purpose of today's meeting.
En español, por favor.
Thank you, because I forgot. El propósito de la reunión de hoy es para poder introducirnos, igual que darle las experiencias de lo que vamos a esperar en 3K, pre-kinder y kindergarten, y también hablar de alguna de las diferencias de grado a grado.
Can another teacher or one of the other early childhood teachers do the English version so that Ms. Heredia doesn't do both, or one of us can?
I'll be
Thank
happy
you, Ms.
to do
Pollitt.
that. The Early Childhood Framework for Quality is the new version of the Department of Education's Division of Early Childhood quality standards. So they are aligned with the Common Core standards. So, but they are tailored to our particular needs in our city schools and for our communities. So these are the for the 0 to 5 programs. So that means birth to 5 years old. Respect and value differences, which means trusting each other. Create a safe and positive environment, a supportive environment. Advance play-based learning and responsive instruction. So that has to do with our center activities, and all this is described in detail in future slides. 4, promote families' roles as primary caregivers, teachers, and advocates. This is the strong family community tie. 5, work collaboratively toward continuous quality improvement. This is the collaboration between us teachers as a team. And 6, demonstrate the strategic leadership. So this has to do with how we teachers work with our community of principal and assistant principals and other staff in the SBST whatever we need in our social work and guidance. Señora Heredia?
Sorry, had a hard time unmuting. Esta es lo que nosotros seguimos para el programa de niños de edades de 0 a 5 años. Tenemos varias cosas que seguir y es para la importancia de los estudiantes, igual que las maestras y la familia. Lo primero es confianza, tener respeto uno al otro, cuando viene que ver con la cultura de nosotros y diferentes responsabilidades que tenemos. La próxima cosa, número 2, es, perdón, la próxima cosa es donde estamos, estar en un sitio seguro y en un sitio positivo. Necesitamos que en el ambiente que estemos sea positivo y que también sea un sitio seguro para todos los estudiantes. Número 3, Jalen, can you please take him upstairs?
Oh, I'm trying to get him.
Thank you. Sorry, guys. El número 3 es tener un sitio donde los niños van a aprender por aprendizaje y que sea un aprendizaje que le dé, que puedan seguir progresando, que no estén estancados en una sola área. El número 4 es entre familia y maestras y todo el mundo en la escuela trabajar juntos, crear una comunidad fuerte. Número 5 es siempre seguir para adelante, la maestra seguir preparándose para hacer más con los estudiantes. Y el número 6 es, tiene que ver más con el poder seguir el seguimiento de lo que todos tenemos que hacer, el leadership.
So I wanted to just say here that all of these come together and work together in a really great way, because it's about really collaborating together as the school community and the home community to ensure that all of our early childhood students are embracing these standards and that they're learning through play and that they are in environments that are supportive of them and that their differences are valued there and that the families are a part of this learning. And so that's a big part of what happens in early childhood, and a lot of it is done through play, and we're all going to need to work together, especially in these times, to ensure that that is firm and solid and that our children are learning throughout this time.
La señora Evans también quería compartir que esto todo se usa para el aprendizaje del niño en su área primaria y que muchos de los niños como aprenden es jugando y vamos a trabajar todos juntos para llegar al alcance a donde nuestros niños siguen progresando. And I just want to add that we have other teachers that also want to help, so we're going to take turns.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Do you want me to continue?
Yes, you can.
Yes, you could continue, and then we'll.
Okay, let me know when you want me to stop. Establish methods of ongoing communication. Class Dojo, Instagram at 138PS, Twitter at 138PS, and our school website, ps138school.com. So these are the additional ways that events are announced. The Class Dojo is very specific to your child's class. You'll be able to communicate directly with the teacher that way. And the school website, if you haven't seen it yet, is full of summertime activities for all ages.
Estos son los métodos de comunicación de nosotros. El primero es Class Dojo. Class Dojo es un programa donde van a usarlos con los padres directos. Los padres van a poder contactar a las maestras y las maestras van a poder contactarlos a ustedes privado. También tenemos dos redes sociales, Instagram y Twitter. Y el nombre de nosotros es @138PS. Y también tenemos una página de internet para la escuela, que es ps138school.com. Ahí pueden conseguir mucha información de diferentes actividades que pueden hacer para todos los niveles.
And-
Ms. Brown, I saw your question. We're going to make sure we get to it. Okay.
In this time, especially of going through the planning and trying to do some type of blended learning, and some children are doing full remote, you please ensure that you are following us on our social media and that you visit our site, because a lot of information as we get it, and things are changing by the minute. So sometimes we're on here saying this thing and then we go back and I get an email and I have to update something. So please make sure you're following us, because that's where you're going to be able to get the most up-to-date information about what's happening with the school, if anything's changing and what needs to happen next. So please, please make sure that you're following us on our social media sites.
La señora Evans vuelve y reafirma que es importante que nos sigan en las redes sociales, porque a veces le decimos algo ahora en esta reunión y cuando venimos a ver en la noche ya recibe una dirección electrónica y le dice que tiene que cambiar el método de lo que estaba haciendo. So, en este tiempo que estamos ahora están cambiando muchas cosas diariamente. Ms. Leopold, can we put you in for drop off and pick up? You're on mute. Thank you, hon.
Sorry. Okay, the drop off and pickup procedures. Parents, there's a certain exit that you will enter and exit. And when you're there, I'm just going to read it, then I'll explain. 3K and pre-K students are to walk into their classroom door and stand on spot. Use hand sanitizer and sign child in. You have to make sure every day, parents, I know you're in a rush, but they have to be signed in. We have to keep track of who signed your child in. For kindergarten students are to be walked to the auditorium entrance where they will meet their teacher. So 3K and pre-K have it one spot, kindergarten goes into the auditorium. All students need pictures of anyone who's permitted to pick up the child. Your child will not be released to anyone we do not have a picture of. Parents, before you go on in Spanish, Ms. Heredia, parents, we cannot stress to you how important these pictures are. We don't care if it's a person, a neighbor, anybody, anyone you can think of, please give us their picture. There's always an emergency situation and, oh, no, Ms. Leopold, it's always going to be me picking up the child and then somebody else comes one day. Please, anyone, it doesn't matter. It goes into a binder. We would rather have the picture always on hand.
And let me just add to that before you do in Spanish. When we say anybody, I mean the last person that you're thinking of right now that you're like, this would be my last resort. Put that person in there as well, because as parents, and my children, though they're not school aged anymore, I remember having to call my very last resort one time. And I was happy that I put her down on my form. So even if you're thinking it would have to be very bad for me to call this person, put that person down.
And just for kindergarten, this is going to be new for kindergarten, but we would like the same procedure for kindergarten starting this year as well.
Yes.
We need the picture, so we have it all together.
Also, are we using exit 8?
Don't worry about that. I'm giving everybody on the reopening plan on Friday. Right now, I just want to talk about the process, and then we will give people more information on Friday.
Okay, are we ready?
Yes.
All right. So este es el procedimiento para recoger y dejar los niños en escuelas. En la escuela, los niños de PreK y de prekinder, esos niños serán caminados a la puerta de su salón. Las maestras, nosotros vamos a tener una área designada donde los padres se pueden parar esperando. Le vamos a pedir que por favor usen el hand sanitizer para limpiarse la mano y firmen a su niño. Sé que por la mañana uno siempre anda deprisa, pero es importante que todos firmen a su niño cuando lo dejen entrar. Y entonces para recoger a los niños pedimos una foto. Si no tenemos una foto de la persona que está recogiendo, no podemos dejar que esa persona se lleve a su hijo o hija. So, es bien importante que tengamos una foto de todo el mundo que puede recoger a su hijo o hija. Sé que a veces tenemos emergencias en la familia y no podemos llegar o quien tenía no planeado no puede ir. So, es importante que nos dé, entre más fotos, mejor. Es más importante, es mejor tener venir a recoger a su hija, pero por lo menos tiene esa oportunidad que si tiene una emergencia, esa persona puede venir. Para kindergarten, los niños serán designados a un área en particular. Usualmente es el auditorio, pero como la señora Evans termina de decir, ella tiene que terminar de crear el plan, so puede que algunas de las entradas cambien. Y usted deja a su hijo o hija en esa puerta y ellos entran y se encuentran con la maestra. Y kindergarten por primera vez va a empezar a hacer lo de las fotos también. So es importante que ellos también tengan una foto de quien puede recoger a su hijo o hija.
And even for everyone whose children are going to, if you opted into full remote for now, this is good for you to know, because what if something changes as the year goes on? We don't know what the year holds, but if it changes, then you will know very well what the procedures are up front, so then you won't have to worry about getting acclimated to something new.
Okay. La señora Evans dice que es importante que hasta los niños que escogieron estar por computadora todo el tiempo, que también se preparen para esto por si acaso en algún momento en el año usted decide que quiere que vuelvan a la escuela, puede también volver y ya sabe lo que el procedimiento que es. Thank you.
Ms. Leopold is continuing.
Yes, we have family engagement. We have workshops that you will attend with the teachers, and we will host them, and there's certain topics we will talk about. There's open school night, which I hope everyone attends, for the expectations of the school year and what your child will be learning. Parent-teacher conferences, which are 3 times a year, November, March, and May. And of course, family fun nights. We had Family Feud. We had
Bingo
and Sip and Draw. So there was a lot of fun events that PS 138 had.
Estas son nuestras actividades que tenemos en familia. Tenemos diferentes clases de aprendizaje para los padres. Tenemos Open School Nights, que puede ser que en este año sea un poco más diferente. Esto es cuando vienen a conocer a la maestra. Igual que la conferencia de padres y maestros, puede que este año sea un poco diferente, pero sí la vamos a tener. Sorry, Cindy, just muting you so everyone can hear me. Y también tenemos diferentes actividades, como hemos tenido noche de bingo, hemos hecho noche de cantar las canciones. So, tenemos diferentes actividades que tenemos y siempre la ponemos en las redes sociales y también mandamos notificaciones a los padres por Class Dojo.
And this year, it's going to be more important than ever that we keep in touch, and we're really going to, because there's going to be a lot going on this year, as you can imagine. And so it's very important, vitally important, that we stay in touch. And as we get to the academic side, I'll talk a little bit more about what that's going to look like in terms of what we're asking of you in conjunction with ourselves. So it's going to look a lot different, because we are going to need to be working together so much more closely, based on whatever model you chose for your child, or whatever type of learning you chose. So please make sure that when we send out the calls, the robocalls, and send out the mass emails and put stuff on social media, please keep up with that, because again, the engagement and the communication is going to be so key this year.
La señora Evans expresa que la comunicación va a ser súper importante este año. No importa qué modo usted cogió para su hijo o hija que fuera a la escuela, va a ser bien importante. So, es importante de que participemos en muchas de las actividades y que tengamos una comunicación abierta entre todos. Ms. Flashman, would you like to jump in? I'm just volunteering people.
She having trouble? I can't.
Yes.
See.
She's
Okay.
on mute.
The screen is not showing.
Do you want me to read it?
Other resources are available, because we're dealing in the month of September with social emotional learning. It's so important that we get to know your child. Your child is at the beginning of their learning career. And so we are making sure that we get to know your child, what your child's needs, their strengths, what they would like to do, all their talents, their gifts. We want to know everything about your child because you're joining our PS 138 family. So it says here on this slide, why is it important for children to learn about feelings? Feelings are so important because we all have them. And it's so important that we help children to recognize their feelings and express feelings. Because after the months that we have been through, we certainly have had so many feelings, so many deep feelings about what has occurred in our community, our nation, the world, and in our families. So addressing feelings through conversation, through pictures, through literature is so important, and we will make sure we do that. And this slide talks about the importance of that. So while we're addressing that in school, we're working with you as you address it at home. And if you need help, because you see your child is really concerned about issues about school, remote, going in the building, not going in, work with us because we can give you some support in that. Because feelings and how we as adults feel and how the children feel is so important. So this issue here, I'd love to address this as well, because the tips to ease separation anxiety. We know that when you first start school, it's a moment for children. It's a moment for you too. Here's a moment when a child realizes that they won't see you if they're going into the building, they will not be with you. So they talk about the importance of us addressing the anxiety that comes in a family when a child is experiencing something new. And certainly we want you to talk to your child now about what it means to go to school. It's very important. So this slide right here is extremely important to you and to us as an essential resource. And there's more to it that can help. And I see at the bottom, they have books as well. Because many things that we talk about, not through lecture with children, but through reading, showing them pictures and stories and using characters to help them to understand. So it's very important.
Thank you, Ms. Fleshman.
Yeah, you got a lot to do. Go ahead.
Hi, I have a question.
Can Cindy, can you please put your question on the chat? And after the slideshow, we're going to get to all the questions.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you. So la señora Fleshman termina de compartir con nosotros esta página. Esta página es sobre los sentimientos de la persona y ella expresa que los sentimientos es algo que es súper importante porque sentimientos es algo que todos tenemos. De adulto hasta los niños, todos tenemos sentimientos. Es importante que empecemos a enseñarle a los niños a expresar cómo se siente. A veces los niños pueden sentir algo, pero no saben cómo decirnos lo que sienten. So, la señora Fleshman termina de expresar que en el primer mes al segundo mes vamos a enfocarnos en los sentimientos y aprender socialmente. También ella compartió que en el principio de la escuela muchos de los niños a veces pasan por un momento que es difícil para ellos. Y nosotros como madres y papás también es difícil para nosotros separarnos de nuestros hijos porque siempre lo hemos tenido, para muchos es su primera experiencia en la escuela. Hay muchos pasos que están en esto y nosotros vamos a compartir esta página con ustedes que pueden tomar y es importante que también empiecen a hablar con los niños desde ahora de la escuela, cómo se sienten de la escuela, de ir a la escuela para que empezamos a abrir esa puerta para ello. A la parte de abajo hay unos cuantos libros que comparten con ustedes como por ejemplo The Kissing Hand y ese libro también está en español. Es El beso en la mano y ese libro se trata sobre un animalito que va a ir a la escuela por primera vez y sufre de ansiedad cuando se va a separar de su mamá. Y es importante que también le leamos libros a los niños así para que ellos vean que es importante expresar lo que sienten, pero a la misma vez todavía somos fuertes suficiente para superarlo.
And we can provide these tips for easing separation anxiety to our parents too, so that they're able to look at some
Yeah.
and kind of make sense of that.
Yep, that's what I just expressed in Spanish that we could share.
That's right.
Perfecto.
Miss Leopold, 3K.
Hi, everybody. Okay, this is the academic expectations
For
for
3K.
or 3K. Remember, this is a brand new program, parents. So the learning outcomes are that we would like the children talking in complete sentences, and also listen and discuss a story. In the beginning, as we know, their attention spans are so small that our goal is that they could listen to a story and give some detail about it by the end of the year. For math, there's counting, not only counting up to 10, but also looking at groups and saying which one has more, which one has less, and identifying, picking out numbers up to number 5, and the 4 basic shapes, identifying circle, square, rectangle, triangle. For social, this is the most important part of 3K, of course, besides the academics, is they're going to learn how to play with each other. A lot of these kids have cousins and siblings, but it's not the same as classmates. So they're going to be able to play with each other as well as express themselves. Are they upset? Are they happy? Are they mad? So we want these children to express their feelings and to develop positive relationships with their peers, parents, and teachers. So we want them to come to school happy. This is their first experience. Kids are supposed, I know the pre-K loved school. I know 3K is going to love it even more. It is center-based. That means they're going to different centers and they're playing in that center. They're playing, they're actually learning.
Ok, so la señora Leopold comparte con nosotros las expectaciones del grado 3K. En lectura, esperan que los niños al final del grado puedan poder hablar en oraciones completas, igual que sentarse y escuchar un libro que ha sido leído a ellos y poder hablar del libro. Aunque sea dar algunos datos importantes que haya pasado en el cuento que terminan de escuchar. En matemática van a contar del 1 al 10 y no solamente contar del 1 al 10, pero también poder mirar grupos de cosas y poder decir este grupo tiene más o este grupo tiene menos. Empezar a identificar los números hasta el 5, identificar las figuras geométricas en la área social emocional. Poder empezar a expresar cómo se sienten, a compartir con sus amigos. Muchos de los niños sabemos que tienen hermanos y hermanas o primos que juegan con ellos, pero es un poco diferente cuando están jugando con amigos. Eso es importante que van a empezar a aprender cómo compartir con amigos, cómo relacionarse con sus amigos o amigas. Y también cómo llevarse con otros adultos que no son sus familiares, porque mayoría de los niños a esta edad lo que están acostumbrados es que están o con mami o papi o una tía o un tío o una abuela, pero ahora van a ver a otra persona grande que va a ser su maestra, que también van a tener una relación con esa maestra. Would you like to add anything else, Ms. Leopold?
No, I think that when they play in their centers, it's different than playing at home. We have materials and objects that when they go to these centers and they're learning through them. I just want to give an example for math, sorting colors. So I would have things in the tub and they would sort it according to the correct color. For science, it's sink and float and learning as well colors. They're experimenting. They're learning through play.
Okay. La señora Leopold expresa que la diferencia entre jugar con sus primitos cuando están en la casa es que están jugando con juguetes. Aquí en la escuela, un ejemplo, si están haciendo una actividad de matemática, ella puede que le dé un bowl lleno de diferentes objetos y le dice, sepáralo por color o sepáralo por el tamaño. O en un ejemplo en ciencia, puede que ella haga un experimento con cosas que flotan o cosas que se hunden en el agua. Entonces, el juego es un poco diferente. Ms.
And
Evans?
I think as you get to know us at our school a little bit better, and especially like I spoke yesterday with our entering third graders, and for me, the children's lived experiences is going to be so key with this as well. I think a lot of times we kind of say, okay, you went to school, you learned that, but these are all skills that they can extend at home. And so it's asking them, what color is that? How do you know? Let's try this thing in the sink. Does your rubber ducky that you sit in the tub with float or sink? Or does your little doll, when you bring your doll with you to the shower, what happens if you put her in the water? So it's just extending that learning to what they are exposed to in the home that helps them to continue to make that learning stick for them in a very real way. So that's how we'll work together too as a school and family community to enhance the learning for our students.
La señora Evans comparte que es importante que no solamente que los niños lo sepan, pero que también uno como madre o papá lo sepa, porque cuando estamos en la casa, muchas de estas actividades la podemos transferir a cosas en la casa. Por ejemplo, cuando el niño o la niña se está bañando, el patito que te llevas a la bañera, él se hunde o flota en el agua. Cuando te llevas una muñeca, ¿qué pasa? Es importante que los padres también sepan estas actividades que estamos haciendo en la clase, que ustedes van a saber durante el año escolar, para que así también ustedes sigan haciendo actividades en la casa que refuerza lo que estamos haciendo. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the pre-K section. So in pre-K, it's very similar to 3K. However, things do pick up a little more, so it carries on from there. So in literacy, we ask and answer questions. So the children will be able to listen to a story and ask questions about what's happening in the story, as well as answering questions that we may ask them about what's happening in the story. They start their reading readiness, which is going to prepare them from kindergarten, that Ms. Plater will be sharing with us in a few moments. So children will learn how to hold the book, how to turn pages, how to discuss the pictures in a book. So it's very important that even now when they're at home, we allow them to take a book at home and, just turn the pages and look at the pictures and be like, oh, look, the little girl's playing with the ball and she's going to the park. And we want to make sure that they just elaborate on what they're seeing happening in the pictures. And this is the beginning of reading because now they're using the pictures to create a story. So it's important that even though we're going to be reinforcing this and teaching this in the school, you can also do this at home with your child. During bedtime, right before they go to bed, I know that we as parents love to read stories to our children before they go to bed, but you could be like, you know what? I'm so tired today. Today is going to be your turn to read to me. And you just have them go through the pictures because a lot of times children will say they don't know how to read, but they actually do if they just look at the pictures and they could create their own story. So it's important that we encourage them that they could do that, that there's no right or wrong story. Let's say you can have twins at home and Johnny just read to you the story. And in his story, he told you one story and now the other sibling tells you a different story, but looking at the same pictures. If it's relevant to the picture, it's still a story.
It's a good story. Yep.
Yes. So it's very important that we encourage our children that it's okay to do that. And then Ms. Plater would elaborate a little more once they're able to sound out the words and read the words, how it's more important that the picture matches what they're reading. And I know that she'll get into that for you guys. In math, in pre-K, they should be able to count fluently up to 20. Now, when we say counting fluently, it's important that we understand that they should be able to say each number. A lot of times what we encounter is that a child, we as parents, because I'm a parent as well, we will see my child knows how to count fluently. Yeah. And when our child counts, they'll go, 1 and they'll go all the way to 15 and then they'll be like 15, 17, 18, 19, 20. yeah, they did a great job, but they missed one number. So that doesn't allow them to be fluent. So we need to make sure that when, you know, we just assist them and we guide them in that path so they can begin counting fluently. And one of the biggest mistakes that I could just throw out there is that they try to rush through their counting. And most of the time it's a silly mistake of them just skipping a number. But definitely throughout the school year, I know all the pre-K teachers, we're going to be sharing with you different strategies that you can do at home. Being able to count objects up to 10, identifying numbers up to 10, so it increases a little more than in 3K. Being able to identify shapes, both 2D and 3D. So the 2D is like our triangle, our circle, our square. Our 3D is more like our cylinder, cube, and we usually relate that to the home because we do have those shapes at home. For example, when they see a can of beans, or they see a box of cereal or a box of cookies. So we will get to that and we'll give you guys a little more details. And then our social emotional pretty much carries on and a little more in depth, being able to learning their skills on how to express their feelings and being able to develop their relationship with peers, parents, and teachers. I'm gonna take a sip of water while Ms. Evans adds something, and then I'll go to Spanish.
I think it's excellent that we have laid it out in such a way that you can see the difference between 3K, pre-K, and kindergarten. And especially because we know that parents and guardians are co-teachers with us. So if your child is at home with you, you know the expectations and you know what is expected in that particular grade so that you're not asking for a child to do something that's not appropriate for their level. So I love the fact that we're explaining and identifying the expectations in literacy and math and social learning for each grade. And I thank you for being the partner with us at home. Those of you who are going to be teaching remotely with us, it's very important that you know the expectations.
Thank you, Ms. Flashman.
PS 138 is the best.
Thank you. Whoever said that.
Ok, son las expectaciones académicas para el grado de pre-kinder. Es en lectura, es un poquito más diferente al 3K. Nosotros esperamos que los niños puedan hacer preguntas, igual que contestar preguntas sobre un libro que haya sido leído a ellos. También empezamos, en este momento empezamos a cómo manejar un libro, cómo aguantar un libro, cómo virar las páginas, hablar sobre las fotos que vemos en un libro. En inglés yo expresé que es importante que hagamos los niños cómodos suficiente porque muchas veces los niños dicen que no saben leer, pero es importante que nosotros compartimos con ellos que si ellos miran las fotos que están en un libro, ellos nos pueden crear un cuento, no pueden decir lo que está pasando. Y no hay una manera correcta de interpretar una foto. Por ejemplo, un niño, si usted tiene dos niños pequeños, uno le puede decir que pasó una cosa en el libro y el otro le puede decir otra cosa diferente, pero después que sea relacionado con la foto, los dos están correctos. Y la señora Miss Plater va a compartir con ustedes cómo cambia un poquito cuando lleguen a kindergarten y puedan leer las palabras. En matemática es importante que los niños puedan contar completamente hasta el número 20 sin cometer errores. Di el ejemplo que a veces muchos niños cuando están contando pueden decir, van del 1 al 15 sin cometer error, después dicen 15, 16, 18, 19, 20. Y nosotros como padres pensamos que es un error pequeño, pero es importante que en este grado, cuando ya salgan de este grado, puedan contar sin cometer ese error. Y le vamos a dar diferentes estrategias de cosas que pueden hacer. También contar objetos hasta el número 10, identificar números hasta el número 10 fuera del orden, identificar figuras geométricas como el cuadrado, el rectangular, el círculo, y también figuras geométricas en 3D, que viene siendo como una bola, la figura geométrica de un tubo, cosas así, y son cosas que nosotros también tenemos en la casa que después nosotros le vamos a dar diferentes estrategias. Cuando viene a lo social emocional, es parecido al de 3K, que es poder expresar sus sentimientos y poder crear relaciones con amigos en escuelas, padres y maestras. Something that I mentioned in Spanish that I missed to mention in English is that when it comes to identifying numbers up to 10, it's important that we understand that identifying the numbers up to 10 has to be out of order. So if you put the cards in order from 1 through 10 for your child and they go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, yes, they're pointing to it, but do they really understand that that number means, like, for example, if they point to the 4 and say 4, they understand that that number that they're pointing to is actually the 4. So one of the things that we do recommend is taking them out of order and then going through the cards. And I'm sure that we're going to talk a lot more about that when we get to that time. Ms. Evans, would you like to add anything else, or Ms. Fleshman?
That's good.
Okay, Ms. Plater, your turn.
Hello, everyone.
I'm afraid.
As you can see so far, what we're doing here is we're building on every grade. And the K3 through kindergarten, we're really responsible for the building blocks of learning. So if we don't get this right, it's much, much harder for kids in the upper grades to progress like they should. So K3 or 3K and PreK, they touch on a lot of the reading readiness and the math readiness skills that are necessary. In kindergarten, we make a big jump because we need to get them reading and reading at the solid level D by the end of kindergarten. So we start with letters and sounds, but we move much further than just the letters and sounds of the alphabet. We move into digraphs, suffixes, diphthongs, and things like that. The double vowel sounds, some of those. So it's really important that the kids in 3K and PreK master the reading readiness skills and the math readiness skills at those grade levels. Some of the other important thing that they need to get to their reading readiness, reading level in kindergarten is sight words. So they must be able to read certain sight words because that's where they get stuck on when they're reading if they don't know certain words by sight. So we'll be working a lot on that.
Can you give an example or two of what a high frequency / sight word would be?
For example, the word the would be a sight word that's very frequent in every book you find. Is I like, well, they usually know because it's a name of the letter, but those are the kinds of words that we work on for sight. Then we use those letters, the letter sound knowledge we have or that they've learned to move into writing sentences because they have to be able to express themselves in writing in kindergarten, where they weren't expected to do that in the other grades before. We also start using the letters and sounds to help them to segment and blend words, which is what helps them to read unknown words in books and get them to that reading level that they need to be. Also, once they can read, then we can move more into comprehending stories in more detail than they did in PreK, where they were just telling a story by using pictures. We can get them to show what they understand from reading the words. For math, we're moving from counting to 20 all the way to counting to 100 fluently. We're adding and subtracting within 10. We're composing and decomposing numbers, that's breaking them apart, joining them. And we're moving from just identifying 2- and 3-dimensional shapes into analyzing the shapes and building the shapes and things like that. The social and emotional skills, we're just continuing from, it's pretty much a lot like what they did in K3 and PreK. But their feelings are becoming a little bit more, what am I trying to say, Miss Evans? I don't know.
They have
a little bit more complex.
They have more mature feelings.
Right.
Maturing,
Right. So they have to be able to express that, and they need more language and different ways of expressing themselves in kindergarten when it comes to social and emotional learning. And I think that's it for now. A lot of, like Ms. Fleshman said, you're going to be our co-teachers this year. So the workshops we talked about earlier, it's where we will be able to help you with some of these things that you can help with at home. So we'll be doing workshops to show you how to do some of these things. Thank you.
Good job.
Gracias, señora Plater.
You're welcome.
De nada.
So, la señora Plater compartió con nosotros del grado kindergarten. Ella expresó que en la lectura sube un poco más. En pre-kinder ellos hablaban más sobre las fotos que había en un libro. Ahora en kindergarten es importante que uno se va a enfocar en las letras y los sonidos de las letras, igual que sight words. Sight words vienen siendo palabras que los niños no pueden pronunciar por mirando las letras y poniendo los sonidos juntos, sino son palabras que se tienen que memorizar lo que dicen. Esto es súper importante porque cuando terminen en el grado kindergarten tienen que salir leyendo en un nivel D. También cómo escribir oraciones completas. So, como pueden ver, la diferencia entre PreK y kindergarten es una gran diferencia. Y es importante que la maestra, igual que los padres, trabajen juntos para poder llegar a esa meta. En matemática en vez de contar hasta el 20 como hacían en pre-kinder, ahora van a poder contar hasta el número 100. También van a empezar a sumar y a restar entre el número 10, del 1 al 10. Van a coger los números y van a poder romper los números y ver cómo uniendo dos números construye un número nuevo, igual que romperlos, igual que unirlos. Y en pre-kinder, cuando aprendieron las figuras geométricas, ahora en kindergarten van a poder analizar las figuras geométricas y cómo pueden coger las figuras geométricas y romperlas en pedazos y crear nuevas, y poner algunas partes juntas y crear otra figura geométrica diferente. Cuando llega a lo social emocional, es prácticamente lo mismo, lo único que en kindergarten los niños son un poco más profundos de sus sentimientos y lo que sienten, y compartir eso con todo el mundo.
I want to say something about the comprehension piece, because
Yes.
many times parents say, my child can read. Yes, your child can read words, doesn't comprehend when asked a question, cannot tell the teacher what the words mean, what the sentence is actually saying. So when you're going over reading with your child and you're reading to them, you're learning sight words, make sure when you're going over a book with them that you ask them, what happened? Tell me about the story. What do you think happened here? Why did this happen? When did that happen? Ask questions, because a child has to know that the words mean something. It's just not reading words in isolation. The story tells something that they have to be able to discuss, okay?
La señora Fleshman compartió que es importante que no solamente uno diga que el niño sabe leer, sino porque también es importante que entiendan lo que están leyendo. Muchas veces han habido situaciones que los papás dicen, sí, pero mi hijo sabe leer. Y es cierto, el niño o la niña sabe leer, pero cuando uno le hace preguntas sobre lo que están leyendo, no tienen recollección de lo que terminan de leer, no se acuerdan de qué se trataba la historia. So, es importante que cuando estén practicando en su casa, como padre o madre, uno siempre le pregunte, ¿de qué se trató el libro que tú leíste? Cuéntame algo que pasó en el cuento. Hacerle preguntas para que así se acostumbren a hablar sobre la historia. Ms. Leopold.
Okay, this is only a sample.
Of in school.
Yes, in school. So in the morning, they'll come in and maybe we'll have a little table toys on the floor. But after that, our morning routine usually will consist of a little playtime. After that, we have to hand wash. There's a lot of washing in kindergarten and pre-K.
There'll be more this year.
Yeah. So I just want to tell you, well, I'm not even gonna get detailed. They wash their hands and then we eat breakfast. The para and myself, of course, are going to be helping open up the items for breakfast. By the end of the year, your children will be pretty much independent, and we're going to help them show them how to eat. You know, some children still have problems with utensils. So after that, and then they're gonna clean up. They clean up. We try to teach a lot of independence. Large circle time just consists of what we're doing today, just like what I'm discussing with you, except they will have pictures. And then like the weather, is it a school day? Is it a weekend? Then they go to their center time. And that's a lot of their play times. They get to choose what centers there are. After that, again, you clean up, you hand wash, and then we have lunchtime. And then after lunch, I think this year I might change it up. I don't know. I think I'm gonna give them rest time. They need, it's required a 60-minute nap. If they do not rest, don't worry. They get to do little things like read a book or work with the teacher in quiet. No, we don't make them take a nap. Then our large group time after that is a story. Then they go back to centers. Then we clean up, hand wash again, snack time, and there's going to be outdoors. It might not necessarily be in that order, but also the requirement is they have to go outside and play.
So I want to jump in because that might look very different this year, and we'll address this on Friday. So even though this is our traditional 3K sample schedule, because of the COVID-19 virus and a lot of other things that are happening, depending on the numbers of children who are coming in school, which is at this point 9 to 10 with the teacher, or 8, depending on how many adults need to be in the room. How we're doing the stations and centers will probably change. How we're doing, I'm not sure about outdoors at this point. That could possibly change. So there are a few changes that are going to happen, and I'll get more into them on Friday. But as you know, because of the circumstances now with the coronavirus, we are getting guidance constantly that is going to change some of these routines that we have been accustomed to. So I just wanted to put that in your ear, that most of this will stay the same in terms of the story time and the circle time, even as long as we're socially distanced. But some of this will change based on the social distancing guidelines and so forth. So we'll talk some more about that on Friday.
There'll also be, if we can't outdoors or go outside, music and movement, because children need to move their bodies. There's music such as like jumping and galloping, and they're following direction songs, and a lot of movement. And our closing at the end of this lovely day, every day, would either be another little short story or a finger play. The end.
Okay, gracias, Ms. Liepo. So, la señora Liepo compartió con nosotros, este es un ejemplo de cómo el día sería en la escuela. Todo esto es justo a cambiar porque todos los días le mandan a la señora Evans diferentes direcciones de cosas que tenemos que cambiar relacionado con el virus. Pero usualmente sería la rutina de por la mañana, lavarse las manos con el desayuno. Luego sigue a un grupo grande donde se reúne la clase entera. La señora comparte con ellos qué es lo que van a hacer por el día, las diferentes actividades, y después se mueven a la actividad de centros, que es cuando van a jugar. La señora Evans termina de expresar con nosotros, puede ser que este año cambie en la forma que hacemos los centros y jugamos por todo lo que está pasando con el virus. Después recogen, se lavan las manos, comen almuerzo en forma familiar. El descanso viene después. Después viene otro grupo grande donde le leen un cuento, pueden hacer una actividad de matemática, todo depende. Después centros otra vez, limpian, se lavan las manos, comen merienda y salen afuera. Después tienen otra reunión pequeña donde puede que le lean un libro o hagan actividades de movimiento, y después se van a la casa. Pero como le terminamos de decir, puede ser que todo esto cambie. Esto es nada más para darle un ejemplo de cómo puede ser el día, pero puede ser que todo esto cambie porque por ahora no sabemos si podemos llevar a los niños afuera, cómo va a ser las actividades de jugar juntos. hasta que no nos den más direcciones del Departamento de Educación. Cuando nos la den, nosotros las compartimos con ustedes.
Heredia, you told me to write the questions somewhere, and I don't know how to do it. I'm new at this, but I also wanted to ask Ms. Leopold a question if I can, real quick.
I don't know, Ms. Evans, would you like the questions to come in now, or do you want them to stay for the end?
If she has a question for Ms. Leopold specifically on this, then yes, go ahead.
Yes, I wanted to ask Ms. Leopold, when it comes to the nap time, do they nap on the table or they have to get a mat or something?
Every child has their own mat. We do, their names are labeled on it and they are sanitized.
Do we buy it or they buy it?
No, the school provides it. We only ask, but I don't know with like this. No, the school has the mat with, they usually bring a very light, small blanket to provide. Not a big comforter, a blanket that could be stored in a little, like a bag or a shoebox.
And what about the supplies?
The supplies?
Yes.
We could talk about that at a later date because
No
right now with the COVID, I just want your child in school. The other,
I can kind of give Mom just a little bit on that. There's going to be what we're trying to really do is to minimize a lot of stuff in the classroom, as you can imagine. So if this were a traditional year, all of those things would be coming into the classroom, and you know, they get toys that they could play with, those little dolls and so forth. We also know that viruses and stuff can live on blankets and so forth. So we're trying to really minimize that. So we're waiting for more directions. I know we ordered the mats, but we're waiting for more directions from the early childhood folk to tell us how they would like us to do the nap time this year. So I know that traditionally we provide the mats. They are new, they're ordered, and they would be cleaned and so forth. But we know that we're really trying to minimize a lot of the mats in the classroom. And I'm talking about the big rugs and so forth. So we're really going very minimal this year, so that we can avoid a lot of the spread and kids touching other things. And so as a result of that, I'm still waiting for some guidance from early childhood in terms of what happens at nap time. As soon as we know, and hopefully I'll have it before Friday, so that when we get on that town hall, I can provide that information to you. So I have that out there asking. As soon as I know, I'll let you know. Right now, there's a lot of unknowns, and that's the truth.
Thank you. So la señora Pérez hizo la pregunta sobre cómo los niños se acostarían para el tiempo de siesta. La señora Evans dijo, I'm sorry, Cindy, I have to mute you. There's a lot of noise coming from there, and we can't hear well. La señora Evans compartió que por ahora nosotros sí tenemos las camitas para los niños y usualmente lo que hacemos es que las desinfectamos y la limpiamos, pero igual que las alfombras, pero ahora mismo con todo lo que está pasando con el virus, estamos esperando que el Departamento de Educación nos dé más directiva de cómo vamos a tomar siesta este año, pero desde que ellos nos den la información, ella la comparte con todo el mundo.
Okay, what about the uniforms? What they're gonna wear when it comes, to the school?
It's the same uniform. Nothing's changed with that. It's blue and white.
But they don't wear no sweatpants or anything like that, the babies?
Oh, they can. They can wear if you want to put your child in sweatpants, you can. Listen, this year, to be quite honest, I'm not holding anybody to anything exact. I think whatever works for you at this point, you can do that.
All righty.
Because I know that there's a lot going on right now. So my thing is, get them to us, and that's the most important thing.
Another question is, because I started with the meeting late, you guys were talking about the remote learning. Now, are you guys doing both remote learning and school?
Yes.
Okay. Can they go in for like 3 days and then the rest is at home?
There's a model that the school picked, and we'll be given the information on Friday at the town hall.
Thank you so much.
And if you wanted to go full remote, the time has passed for that. I think that they may still be rolling out a little bit, but I will give you all of the information I'll give you all of that information on Friday at the town hall, because I'm going to roll out the model that we selected as a school.
Where's the meeting at?
If you follow us on social media, it's on the our August calendar has all of the information on there.
Thank you, my love. Thank you. I really
And
appreciate it.
Absolutely.
just a little FYI for all the parents, we use the same exact link for all of our meetings. Unless it's a special meeting with someone else, but for the most part, this is the same exact link that we've been using since we started remote for all of our town halls, our meetings that we have with parents, our games. So if I were you, I would try to write this out in a piece of paper, tape it up somewhere, because this is the one we use for most things. So like for the town hall, it will be the same exact link, Cindy.
It's good to know. Thank you. I'm new at this.
No worries, girl.
And children should be dressed in clothing that they can easily pull down and push up when they go to the restroom. Although we have paras in the room, it's important that children are not wearing clothes that they cannot get out of. They feel that they just feel stuck in it. It's too small, to something. Make sure it's comfortable and they know how to maneuver with it.
For kids that will be remote learning, will they have the same teacher every day, or would that change?
We're still working that out right now, because we still are waiting for numbers of kids who are going to be in school, numbers that are going to be out, and numbers of staff that are going to be in school, and numbers of staff who are going to be out. So before the 26th, you should have your child's schedule and what is going to be happening with them. But right now we're getting numbers every day, so that's kind of rolling right now. But you'll have it by the 26th. I'll be able to give you some more information on that.
Okay, thank you.
Miss Evans, my daughter never received, she was saying a survey to see how does she want the baby, her daughter to go to school, remote learning.
It was on our site all summer long, my love, and we called and sent a message and everything.
Where?
It's on all of our social media. Miss Jimenez called, robocalled everyone to let them know.
She didn't get none of that. My daughter, yeah, that's why.
It's been on our social media for about a month.
Oh, okay.
But
double check.
the reason I'm saying that is because she probably still has a window to do it. She needs to do it right away, though. It's on there. Miss Heredia, when we're done, maybe we'll try to move it back to the top of our timeline, but it's been on there for quite a while.
All righty. Thank you.
So don't worry. We'll repost it to the top so she can see it, okay?
Okay.
Make sure your daughter follows us on Instagram or Twitter so she can see
that's
the
where we're going to put most of
I
our...
will.
Yes.
I will. Thank you.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to move to the pre-K sample schedule. And then I know that a lot of parents are asking questions on the side, so we do want to get to their questions also. So please, if you have any more questions, just put them on the chat so we can get to them and in the order that they're coming in. So for our pre-K schedule, again, this is subject to change, all depending on the guidelines that we receive, because they change every day. But our day, it looks pretty similar to 3K. It's our morning routine, hand washing, breakfast. We do have breakfast as a family style as well as at lunch, which just means that we all sit down together. We all eat our meals together. We have conversations, because during this stage, it is very important that we talk to our children, not just here's your breakfast and keep on moving. It's very important that we do sit with them. Then we have our large group exploration. This is usually where we will have a math activity or reading activity. Each teacher does it a little different. Some teachers like to do their math in the morning. Some like to do their reading in the morning. So it might look a little different. Then they go into center time. Usually centers is where they will go and they will explore the different lessons that we're doing. They follow them up with a center. However, it might look a little different this year. We're not sure yet.
Probably.
Then we have cleanup. We have washing hands. Then we eat lunch family style. We do teach the children to be independent. So in the past, we used to have the children help with handing out the trays, the forks, the spoons. But this year, it might look totally different. It's just most likely not going to happen because of everything that's going on with the virus.
No sharing and touching stuff this year. Sorry.
Exactly. Yes, I know. Then we will have our second group exploration, which is where we will do our next activity, which whether it will be literacy or math. And then just so parents know, at this age, it's really hard to keep a child sitting for a very long period of time. So our large group exploration time, it's no longer than 15 minutes because it's hard for them to sit for that long period of time. And I know that we're going to get a little more into it in remote, but it will be with the same thing with remote. Keeping them in front of a screen for a long period of time, it's very hard for them, but I know we'll get to that then. Then we will have centers outdoors, as Ms. Evans mentioned with PreK. It might look a little different this year. We're not sure. When we get more guidelines, we will let you guys know. We have cleanup, hand washing, snack, rest time. And just as Ms. Leopold said, we don't force the children to go to sleep during rest time, but it is a quiet time. So that time is usually like a downtime. Then we have a closing meeting and dismissal. Anything anybody would like to add?
Yeah, I think a lot of that's going to be modified and changed this year. I'm pretty sure there's not going to the touching and the whole lot of that type of thing, which is such a huge part of it, will probably be very much minimized in a real way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Para pre-kinder, este es un ejemplo del horario. Empieza con la rutina de por la mañana, lavarse las manos, desayuno. Después vamos a hacer una actividad en grupo grande. Tenemos los centros, que es cuando los niños juegan y repasan actividades que tienen que ver con lo que terminan de leer o en matemática o en lectura. Limpian, se lavan la mano, tenemos almuerzo en forma de familia. Una de las cosas que la señora Evans estaba compartiendo con nosotros es que este año va a cambiar mucho, porque usualmente le enseñamos a los niños a ser independientes y ellos nos ayudan con diferentes actividades en el salón, como dando los platos, las cucharas, pero con todo lo que está pasando con el virus va a ser bien diferente este año y nosotros vamos a compartir más con ustedes cuando nos den el directivo de cómo las cosas van a ser diferentes. Después tenemos nuestro segundo grupo grande. Tenemos centros, salir afuera a jugar o movimiento del cuerpo, porque es importante que los niños se muevan, limpiamos, nos lavamos las manos, comemos merienda, tiempo de descanso o de siesta. No es obligatorio que los niños se duerman, pero sí es les recomendamos a los niños que toman ese tiempo de relajarse. Y después tenemos la reunión de cerrar el día y el tiempo de irnos. We're ready for the next one. Ms. Plaza.
Hello. And kindergarten again, it changes a little bit. We usually never had breakfast or lunch in the classroom. Usually kindergartners would have to come a little bit earlier if they wanted breakfast. So I don't know how that's going to work this year.
It's going to be grab and go breakfast, and I'll talk about it some more on Friday.
Okay. And lunch will be in the classroom this year, I think. We start off the morning with math. Well, like Ms. Heredia said, some teachers like to do math in the morning, reading in the morning. So either one we start with, and then we have lunch. We have our literacy block, which focuses on reading, writing, and phonics, or foundational skills. And we have a snack during the day, and then we're at dismissal. Now, within the literacy block, we usually, unlike PreK and PreK, where they have centers and they're more into exploration, we have a bit more of a focused learning going on, where they're either learning a new skill in a strategy group with a teacher, or they're reinforcing a skill that they were taught and they're still learning in small groups. So again, I don't know how that's going to work in the small group, because leaving kids to work in a small group without the teacher there to monitor the distancing might be a little difficult. So I guess we're going to learn more about how we're going to do that this year.
All things socially distanced. That's it.
And then we have dismissal, and that's the end of our day.
Yep.
La señora Plater compartió en kindergarten es bien diferente. Ellos empiezan su día con su rutina de por la mañana, después siguen a un programa que se llama las 4 R's, eso tiene que ver con social y emocional. Después siguen a matemática, tienen su almuerzo, después tienen su bloque de lectura que viene siendo escritura y leer a la misma vez. Tienen su fonética, su reunión de cerrar el día y después se van a la casa. Es un poco diferente a lo que ella dice porque antes tenían muchas actividades donde preparaban a los niños y ellos trabajaban solo, a lo que ella trabajaba con un grupo más pequeño, pero con todo lo que está pasando va a ser bien diferente y le volvemos a repetir cuando tengamos más información y no digan a nosotros, nosotros lo compartimos con ustedes. Y el cambio más grande para niños viniendo de pre-kinder a kindergarten es que cuando llegan a kindergarten ya no tienen siesta.
I forgot one thing, Miss Heredia.
Go ahead.
No nap time in kindergarten.
That's what I just said.
Oh, good.
That's what I just said.
So you got to prep them from now.
Yeah, that is a huge change for many people. No nap time in kindergarten.
Yes, I just finished sharing that in Spanish.
That's a huge change.
So this is typically what the day looks like in a 3K or pre-K classroom. Our routines, everything we have up in the classroom is with pictures because we do know that our children are not able to know what the words say. But if they're able to see pictures, they can interpret what's coming up, what are they going to do, what would they do at this center. So if you see in the one where it says routines, this teacher had who is here today. So that's how we take attendance. Our attendance is done by pictures. Yes, of course, the teacher still fills out the paperwork that has to be done behind attendance. But when the children do come in, they have a little area where they will flip their picture to show that they're here. Again, it might change a little.
It will.
And we will have more information as it comes.
You will be flipping the pictures now, Miss Heredia.
Rest time, as we know, we do have the cots in the classroom, but again, it might change. Gross motor time, this is when we go out and we play in the playground from the school, or we might go to the gym and have some playtime. It all might change. It might just have to be movement inside the classroom with spots. There's center time. We have different centers. This is a picture of the art center. Meal time, as we see here, these children are sitting very closely. That's how we used to do it. It's definitely going to change, as well as the large group. As we see in the large group, we did sit together close to each other in a circle, but that's also going to change. But I did want you guys to have some sort of idea of, what those words or those terms meant.
Well, the activities will remain the same, but they'll just be socially distanced and doing
Yes.
it. That's pretty much it.
Yes. So este es un día en un salón de 3K o pre-kinder. Todo lo que hacemos con los niños lo hacemos con fotos porque los niños a esta edad no pueden leer lo que dicen las palabras, pero pueden interpretar lo que las fotos dicen que van a hacer. Tomamos hasta la asistencia con fotos, pero como termino de decir, con todo lo que está pasando, las cosas van a cambiar, so va a ser un poco diferente. El tiempo de siesta, nosotros tenemos la camita para los niños, pero puede ser que este año cambie. Salir afuera o ir al gimnasio a jugar para mover el cuerpo también puede cambiar. Eso puede ser, bless you. Puede ser que también hagamos cosas adentro del salón para mantener el movimiento. Center time, esos son los diferentes centros que tenemos. Tenemos el centro de arte aquí, por ejemplo. En la forma que esté organizada dentro del salón puede cambiar un poco. El tiempo de siesta de merienda o de almuerzo va a cambiar un poco. Como ustedes ven en esta foto, los niños se sientan cerca y comparten y hablan. Esta vez lo vamos a hacer un poco igual, pero se van a sentar distanciados. Igual que cuando nos sentamos en un grupo grande, usualmente nos sentaban en un círculo, ahora nos vamos a tener que sentar un poco más distanciado. You could go to the next one.
I want to say something quickly about the nap time 2 and 3K and pre-K. Parents, please do communicate with the teachers about your child's sleep routines and just let us know what's happening, because the truth is then that sometimes prevents a lot of other things. If your child is not a child who sleeps typically during the day, let us know that. If this child sleeps, you're not going to get them to sleep at this time, but probably this time, because then we won't say to them, well, it is this time, and maybe we can do something else. As Miss Leopold said earlier, we want to work with your child and not, there's enough going on. We don't want them to become anxious or anything like that. So do be honest with us just in terms of what's going on. Sometimes parents don't give us the full picture, where it would help us to then know how to interact with your child and be able to get them to take a nap when they're ready, as opposed to when we're saying it is. Or to my daughter, when I remember my oldest one, she was not a morning child. You're not going to get her to do anything in the morning except her work. Don't try to joke with her. Don't try to anything. She will work, but don't speak to her. By the time 10 o'clock rolled around, she was her regular, normal, wonderfully sunshiny self. My little one, total opposite. Sunshine all day, sunshine all day. And I had to let her teacher know that so that they would know how to handle that. She's not being rude. She just doesn't do mornings well. And so those types of things are good things to tell the teachers too, as you bring your new ones in, because it's a new situation and they're meeting new people, and we need to kind of know what's going on with the children at that point.
So, la señora Evans comparte con nosotros que es importante que ustedes compartan con las maestras cosas que usted sabe de su hijo. Si usted sabe que su hijo es o hija es una persona que no le gusta tomar siesta durante el día o le gusta tomar su siesta a una hora en particular en el día, déjenos saber para nosotros trabajar con ustedes, porque es importante que trabajemos todos juntos. Ella compartió el cuento de su hija mayor que por la mañana ya no le gustaba hacer trabajo, entonces ella le compartió eso con las maestras para que las maestras sepan que de una hora de cierta hora a cierta hora ella va a estar molesta, nada más iba a hacer su trabajo de clase, pero después de ahí no iba a hacer más. Okay, so now it's time to meet our teachers. And after we meet our teachers, I am going to address the questions, and hopefully Ms. Evans will be able to answer most of them for you guys.
Or not.
Hopefully. So this is Ms. Bowie. Ms. Bowie, are you on with us? I know she texted me that she was having internet issues.
Yes.
But this is Ms. Bowie. She's one of the early childhood teachers. Okay. She's very excited to be one of the pre-K teachers this year. It's going to be a great year full of new friends, new adventures, and new discoveries. She can't wait to see you guys. Ms. Golden?
I'm here. Hi, everybody. I was new to pre-K last year and loved it. So I am so excited to meet my new students and work with them, and we'll have a great year.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Ms. Golden.
Thank you.
Ms. Sanchez?
Hello, everyone. My name is Ms. Sanchez. I'm an educational assistant. I've been an educational assistant for over 10 years now, and I've been in the pre-K 4-year-old program for about 4 years now. My role is the most important thing of my role is to teach your child through sensors and support them to become independent.
Awesome. Thank you, Ms. Sanchez.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
She's wonderful.
Thank you.
Ms. Pollitt?
Hi, I'm Miss Paulette, and I'm a nature person, so I always like to bring in things from my country home into the classroom for children to experience. And I just love being at PS 138. I think we have an astonishingly cohesive community, considering how much work it is to, stay in one place. We are so happy that we're going to be meeting you this year, and I'll be able to play and work with your children.
Thank you, Ms. Pollitt.
Thank you.
There
Ms.
she is.
Heredia? Hi guys, so I'm Miss Heredia. I've been teaching at PS 138 for 15 years now. And for the last, this will be my third year now. I've been doing the dual language program for pre-K. I'm really excited. Can't wait to see you guys and work with all of you. Thank you.
Señorita, muy bien.
Señorita.
Can I say something, Jimenez?
Sure.
Hello, everyone. This is Miss Jimenez, your friendly neighborhood parent coordinator. Hola, mi gente. Esta es la señora Jimenez, coordinadora de padres de la escuela. Always remember that I am the one you can always count on to guide you in the right direction. Yo siempre lo mandaré donde necesitan estar si tienen preguntas o conciernos. Please keep my email address available at all times, mjimenez@schools.nyc.gov. I want you to email me. That way I'll have a record of your email address so that I can send you all the wonderful information that Ms. Evans and the teachers have to share with you. All right, so all of you, welcome to PS 138. Have a great time. Keep safe, keep well, and remember my name, Mildred Jimenez.
Gracias, señora. Señorita.
A la orden.
Okay, Ms. V. Okay, so I guess we lost Ms. V. I know she was here.
Yes.
Ms. V is an assistant
Here.
teacher. Oh, she's there. Very good. Yay.
Microphone on. Hola niños y padres, mi nombre es soy la señora Veras y este es mi tercer año trabajando con los niños de pre-kinder. Ha sido un gusto y un placer poder trabajar con ellos. Me gusta bailar con ellos, compartir juntos y vamos a tener un buen rato. My name is Ms. Veras. I'm one of the teachers in the pre-K class, and I've been in pre-K for the last 3 years, and it's been a wonderful time for me, these 3 years working with pre-K. I love to dance with them and play with them and do different activities with them. I can't wait till September so we can have a wonderful time.
Awesome.
See you in September.
Thank you, Ms. V. Ms. Washington.
My name is Miss Washington. I'm coming back this year after having been out for a little while. I have been teaching at PS 138 as part of the family for over 14 years. Before that, I was in middle school. I'm looking forward to meeting the new students coming in so we can learn and grow together. I just want to say a lot of your parents and grandparents I've known by either teaching them or going to school with them. So I'm really looking forward to meeting all of you and embarking on a new learning adventure.
Thank you, Ms. Washington.
Thank you. Ms. P.
Is she
Okay,
here?
so I'm not sure.
Okay, so.
All right, so Ms. P is one of our special ed teachers, and she will be doing kindergarten this year. Ms. Monroe? Okay, Ms. Monroe is also one of our kindergarten teachers, and she used to be a music teacher at PS 138. So I'm sure she will incorporate some of that in her teaching, and I'm sure she can't wait to see you guys too. Oh, we missed the slide. But Ms. Plater, would you introduce yourself?
Hello again, everyone. I'm Ms. Plater.
No, this might be the old version.
Oh, sorry.
Hi, I'm Ms. Plater. I've been teaching at PS 138 for 22 years. In September, I'll be starting my 23rd. And I know quite a few parents already, so I can't wait to see you and my new students in September.
Awesome. Thank you. Ms. Leopold?
Hi, everyone. This is my 23rd year of teaching early childhood. I taught pre-K for a long time. However, I wanted to try something new, and 3K sounds so exciting. and I love small children. I have a 2.5-year-old myself. So I will be teaching him along with your children, and I'm looking forward to this. I can't wait to see you guys in September. And remember, parents, we are a community, and we are 3K, we're all a family. And we're going to be very close this year, regardless of remote or in person.
Yep, that is correct.
Thank you, Ms. Leopold.
Thank you, Ms. Leopold and Ms. Plater.
Is there any teacher I missed?
I think that was everyone who's
okay.
Yeah. So
Ms. Fleshman?
No, Ms. Bennett.
Oh, sorry, Ms. Bennett.
Hi, Ms. Bennett.
Hi. I'm a pre-K assistant. Been working with pre-K for 4 years. I've been in PS 138 for about eight or 9 years. So I'm looking forward to working with your children. Love little kids, so we're gonna have a lot of fun.
Yes, good job, Ms. Bennett.
Thanks, Ms. Bennett.
Welcome.
Ms. Fleshman?
Well, welcome to PS 138, and it truly is a
Miss
family.
Fleshman, I missed you.
And this is Miss Cindy.
Hey, okay.
This will be my 22nd year. So I've seen a lot of children over the years. And they now come back and say that they're parents and they're in college and different levels. And we're so proud that they started with us. Thank you for choosing 138. It's a good decision.
The best.
So before Ms. Evans gives her little message, I do have some questions for Ms. Evans. And Ms. Fleshman, you can jump in as well.
Are these the town hall questions?
I'm going to post them, and then, because I don't want it to be that I missed one, and then if anything, we can redirect them for Friday town hall. So this question was by Ms. Brown. Good afternoon. I wanted to know, okay, I'm sorry. I need to mute somebody. Okay. Good afternoon. I wanted to know, will they have an orientation for parents that are doing full-time remote classes?
We can. We did full-time remote in the spring, and it worked out quite fine. So yes, we can certainly do that. Yes.
So we can have one. Okay. And her other question was, how do parents find out what classroom and teacher their child will participate in?
So again, I answered that earlier, so I'll answer it again. Because we're still getting numbers for the children who are still opting out to do full remote, and there's still teachers who are applying for the accommodation to be full remote as well. We don't have those full numbers yet. So right now I am working on scheduling, but the numbers are rolling each day. And as you may have heard, with social distancing, there can't be more than 9 or 10 students in a class with a teacher. So because of that, I have to get those numbers precise, because we want to make sure that every child can get what they need. So right now I don't have an answer for you, but you should have it by the 26th of August. Who your child will be with, or what schedule they are on, if they're going to be doing the blended model, and so forth.
Okay. The next question is from Mr. Washington, and I actually have the answer for him. He asks if he can have his child ID number. Ms. Rodriguez reached out to me. She said she will be contacting you. She saw your message. She said just give her some time to get home. She wasn't at home right now. The next question is from Mrs. Turner. Will there be school buses this year for the kids?
Far as I hear, yes. They will only do a quarter of capacity though, so I don't know how the DO intends to roll that out, but whatever capacity is on the buses, they're only saying at this point that they're doing a quarter of capacity on school buses. So I'm not sure what that means exactly for our kids yet. They said more direction should be coming, but the one thing I can say is yes, the buses, only a quarter full. So if the bus can hold 30 kids, a quarter of that is what they would be looking. So 7 to 8 children at max will be on a bus. So I'm not sure exactly what that will look like, but that's what they're telling us right now.
All right. This question is from the Walters family. Will the family engagement have times that working parents are able to attend, will there be virtual options for parent-teacher conferences?
There's going to be nothing but virtual. So we're going to have plenty of opportunities at plenty of different times. Teachers are going to have every day as well. They're going to have 20 minutes of office hours. We're going to have office hours, and they're going to be different times, and much of it will be virtual. So you will have plenty of us virtual all the time. One good thing I can say about having done this in the spring is that we kind of mastered that a little bit. So yes, you will have plenty of opportunities to speak with us in the springtime, correct. And we did have a parent-teacher conference this past spring that went pretty well, I thought, so yes.
Okay, this is also from the Walters family. My daughter is entering pre-K 4, but will be attending remotely. Are there tips for getting her to adjust being in school remotely? Will there be opportunities for her to interact with her classmates virtually? She has brothers, but for me, the social development is very important.
I think our pre-K teachers who did a remote this spring can probably answer that better than I can.
Somebody else would like to answer?
You guys did a great job with it this year. I think so.
Can you repeat that?
Share with the families.
We did have times when children would do show and tell. We would dance together. We would share when we were having live learning with read alouds. So it's not the same as, hi, Peyton. It's not the same as having a child grab for a toy and have to navigate through what's mine, what's yours, and sharing. That's a very difficult lesson to teach without being live. But we do address these things through responsive to literature activities.
And I think we also spent a lot of time this year with small groups of children on the pre-K platform. And I visited your classrooms and saw that where you had the children doing a lot of interaction together. Can somebody speak to that?
I know that we also had activities where we would try to follow along with still having family style luncheons or family style breakfast, where we will set a time and we will all meet remotely, and we planned it ahead of time where we made sure that each child had either a snack in front of them, and we would unmute ourselves or listen to a read aloud and then discuss. So I know that there were activities like that, and that also relates to the next question that came from the Rodriguez family, which was them asking how will they learn and play through socially remotely. So I know that the pre-K teachers last year did give a lot of activities that you can do at home, and we were very conscious to make sure that the things we were picking were things that you can easily find at home, and we also gave substitutes for if you didn't have an object at home, what different object can you use? And then just tried whenever we could go live, and we knew that it was hard for all the children to be live on at the same time because parents have different schedules. So I know that many of the teachers tried to shift around their time, where sometimes they were going in the morning, sometimes midday, and sometimes later on in the afternoon. So that way we will give enough time that even if you didn't get to jump on today because you can't do early mornings, maybe you were able to jump on the next time we went on live, because it was an afternoon session or something. The next question is from the Turner family. Since my son is starting kindergarten and he is doing blending, which he will be in school some days and online others, will all the kids get a schedule? And I believe Ms. Evans already addressed this. She's as soon as she finished working that out, she will be reaching out.
Every child will get a schedule, so you'll know exactly when your children are in school and exactly when they're not. Every child will get a schedule.
The next question is from the Mata family. How can we implement all of this if the child is doing remote learning? We just went over that a little, and
I see a parent on here though who had children and sat in with them on remote learning. Maybe she could speak to that a little bit, because a lot of our parents sat in with our remote learning and shared that they had a good experience with it. So I know we can tell it, but I mean, it's maybe someone who's experienced it in the last couple of months would like to share. Who is this here?
Okay, so if there's any parent that already experienced it and would like to share.
There's my parent here in the white hat.
Peanut.
Unmute for me. Yes. There you go.
Remote learning was really good. I got to spend time with my child, and we got to do a lot of projects and read alouds with Miss Pollitt. So it was fun. Gym was great. Gym was, hi, baby. Hi.
Hi, baby.
Gym classes was good, and they had a lot of projects. So it was nice.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Okay, we want to go to the next one?
Yes.
Okay, so the next one.
Sorry, just to ask, that was my question for the master question.
Yes.
So not only is it about socializing, but also since the child was asked to do remote learning, I know I sat down with my child and everything, and it was a different experience. And like I said before in other meetings, I do thank you guys for also working with us. But my question, and this is where I'm thinking, I know that it's not the same thing to socialize via video chat opposed to them actually interacting with the other children. I only have James, which is 5, he's going to kindergarten, and I have my daughter Melanie that's going to 5th grade. There's 2 different ages. That's what I mean. How would I be able to help my child to socialize with other kids at their age if they're little and, you know, we're still working out this whole remote learning?
So if they're full remote, I don't know. They would have no opportunities to interact in any physical way, and that's just being honest. It's what it is. The children are at home, and they are doing the remote learning like we did all throughout the spring. And unless, let's say, for example, people decided that they would, I guess, you know, coordinate and make sure that, you know, in the best, safest way that children can have some interaction. Unfortunately, all we were able to do is have it virtually, which is not ideal. And so that's a very difficult thing. And I don't know that there's any way that we can facilitate any other interactions beyond just what's happening over the screen if we're doing it full remote, unfortunately. So I don't have an answer for that at all.
Okay.
That's a great question, but I don't know.
I have a question. I would like to elaborate on that.
Yes.
As far as blended and remote, are the teachers recording the lessons for the students who are choosing remote, and then they'll have to press and look at the videos? Or is it something where she's gonna, while she's doing blended learning, like she'll have a tablet or something during the learning hours of blended? You know what I mean? Like having a laptop there while she's teaching?
No, but we're gonna
like having a live classroom pretty much.
Yeah, but we thought about a few things and there were too many variables for that. I'm gonna go into that a little bit more on Friday, but our plan is to have them do both live and some tape lessons.
Okay, got it.
Our plan is to have them do both for all of the children, both for remote and for in school. But I'll talk to you a little bit more about it on Friday.
Yeah, because ideally I thought it would be like that. Since she's going to be doing the learning for blended and remote, it'll be a great idea, maybe just having like a tablet or the smart board or something live. So that way she's not doing too much.
Ms. Castro, we thought it was a great idea too, till we realized how many things could come up during something like that, that maybe kids don't need to see on the screen. And we had a lot of experience with that. So we initially thought that would be a great idea too. And then we said, but what if this happens or that happens? What do we do for that? And so we had to kind of shift our thinking a little bit. And so we're working on making sure that every child, whether remote or in school, has a little bit of both synchronous and asynchronous learning so they can get all of it.
Yes, perfect.
Yes.
Perfect. I'm just trying to see like where I stand, like where parents stand as far as remote, like full remote, like what's gonna go on. That way we have an idea.
No, we want your
adding
kids
on to the
full instruction, live instruction. Yeah.
Got it. And then as far as 3K, this is new for them as well. What are the plans for the 3K and remote? You said you will have that on Friday for town hall meeting, yes?
Yes.
As far as remote, like how they're gonna do that, what plan for them? Because they're much smaller and they're, you know, they're not gonna know exactly what.
And so I think a huge part of that is just getting them to meet their own teachers up front, this new people that they're going to see for the first time, not in person, but through a screen. So it's about getting to know those children and getting them comfortable with that. So a lot of the social, emotional stuff that we've planned for the first month is really aimed at getting to know them, familiarizing them with seeing their faces on screen, knowing who they are, so that by the time they get to the academic piece, they will know and have some familiarity, and we can build some trust there. I know it's going to be hard. I'm not even sitting here trying to tell you guys that this is going to be easy. There are some of these things have no answers. And we're still asking questions and still we're working on it. But for us at our school, what I can say is that our teachers did a really decent job last year getting a lot of this going. And I feel like just building that relationship, especially with the little ones, is going to be key for us.
I agree. Another question. As far as registrations for 3K, where do we send that information? I accepted the offer, but the next steps were to submit like the personal documentations. Where do we submit that? Is it an email?
I'm going to write Ms. Rodriguez's email in the chat. And just email her, reach out and say you've accepted, and then she will get back to you concerning that. I'm going to put it in right now.
Perfect. Sounds good. Was there a certain deadline for that?
No,
I don't think there was. I know it says before school.
There's no worries.
Perfect.
You send whatever you have.
Okay.
We'll get back to you. Right now, everything is
perfect. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So why would teach for the okay.
Perfect.
It's in the chat. So just reach out to her and let her know, and then she will tell you how to submit to her what she needs.
All right. So our next question is from the McKenzie family. It says, in March 2020, the wonderful pre-K teachers put together baggies for the students with manipulatives and learning aids for students to use during online session and for homework assignments. Can similar baggies be put together for students who are doing full remote learning?
So our plan is to get all of the resources, including text or whatever, available for all of the children who are doing full remote. So we are having deliveries every day of our math stuff and all of that. So our aim is to go back in and bag up the stuff that we know every child who's going to be full remote will need. And then like we do our pop-up pantry, we will call you in at a designated time. We'll give you some notice so you can come pick up whatever your children are going to need to be able to work from home. Just like we did last time, yes.
Can homework assignments, homework packets, and learning goals be given out at the beginning of the week? And if they are tentative?
Even if they're tentative.
I'm sorry, even if they're tentative.
So we were working on something similar to this. I think it sounds like what we did last week, where we were looking at how do we map out an entire weeks and chunks of information. I think I'd have to get back to you on that after I meet with the teachers, but it's a possibility. I'll let you know.
Okay. Then Ms. Castro's question we just answered about the registration documentation. Yes. How would they know if their child has been accepted?
Email Ms. Rodriguez. All of those questions for registration or knowing about acceptance, it goes to her.
Okay. Will we be taking temperatures?
Yes.
Do the children have to wear masks?
So the guidance right now is masks. Except if there are extraordinary circumstances, which I'll talk about tomorrow on Friday.
Okay. Is the Leadership Academy still around?
That's interesting. There's a lot of moving parts right now. So the tentative answer is yes, but that depends on a lot of things and where people are needed. And it also depends on how many kids are coming in and how many teachers have opted to not come in. Because let's say, for example, your child was in a leadership class, but you're doing full remote and that leadership teacher did not do full remote and they're in school. It poses a different set of problems or concerns. So that's something we're trying to work out to ensure that the best teachers which we have in our school are in front of your children. So we will work that out, but I'm not sure exactly what that looks like right now because of the dynamics and the changing moving parts.
Okay, will I be able to change my child to remote learning remote learning without a problem?
Are they blended right now?
Ms. Lopez, Jessica Lopez?
So right now the child is coming to school.
I'm calling her because
no, I know. I'm just saying right now the child is coming to schools. Yes? Can you ask that?
Yeah.
La niña por ahora va a venir a la escuela en septiembre.
Sí.
So you can change back to remote at any time. The problem is when you start off remote and want to come back to school. So if they're in school and you want to pull them out at any time for remote, you let us know and that can be done. Yes.
Okay. So como ella va a estar en la escuela, si en algún momento usted la quiere cambiar para que vaya a la computadora, no hay problema. El problema más grande es cuando están en computadora y quieren después cambiarlo a que vengan a la escuela, entonces ahí se toma un poco más de tiempo.
Ok, entiendo, gracias.
De nada.
So I think Ms. Mata is asking about her paperwork because she emailed Ms. Rodriguez. If you emailed her, she got it. She is any child who you sent any information to Ms. Rodriguez with is fine. She is taking a much needed break because a lot of these teachers, believe it or not, have had no vacation and they're coming right back. So she's not around for a little while, but she will be back. If you sent her something, she's fine. And nobody's child who you sent anything to will be excluded from our school. We are rolling it as we go. So if you sent something, your child is fine.
Okay, we met our last question, Ms. Evans.
Sounds good. Now I need to go work on my PowerPoint for Friday, and I need to go get my scheduling started. Parents, I believe that we have to, I believe in being honest with folk and telling them what's going on. And right now, if you've been watching the news, if you are paying some attention to just anything, right now, a lot of the answers are just not there. Right? And we're asking the same questions you're asking. How's this going to work? How's that going to work? How's this going to work? They recently sent us, I mean in the last couple of days, some directions about something. So what I'm presenting to you on Friday is the information that I will have at that time. The truth is that the one thing I can tell you that we are going to do that is within our control is to make sure that your children are being educated every day. That's the part we can control. The other outside stuff has to do with the Department of Health and the CDC and the mayor's office and all of that. And they send us information which is constantly changing. So what I can promise you is that our teachers are going to work hard to ensure that we do the very best we can for your children, and the rest of it, we will pray and ask God to help us to get through it. But I'm telling you right now that we are prepared. We started last week doing some planning and really thinking through what do kids need to be successful no matter where they are, and making sure that we're going to make the best decisions for them. So thank you for coming today. I appreciate you. This is a great first step, and for you to get to know us a little bit and us to get to know you. And please, you can email me at any time. My email is always Miss Aradia, can you put my email or somebody in the chat? Anytime. I answer my emails. I'm very good about that. And I just want to thank you so much for coming and for asking your questions. And on Friday, I'll be able to give you a lot more about just the cleaning and what that looks like in the school and what remote looks like. And some of the answers I don't have. And I'm not afraid to tell you I don't have, because I'm not going to make it up. I'm going to tell you what I know, and I'm going to see if I can find out more information, and it's always coming. But I will always be honest with you about what I'm being told and what we are being asked to do right here. So I know it's a hard time. It's so hard not knowing. It's difficult to plan for a school year, not having all of the answers, but I believe that together we can figure it out and we'll make it happen the best we know how for all of our kids, because they deserve that. So thank you, teachers. Thank you, parents. Thank you, Ms. Fleshman. Thank you to everybody who showed up today. I do appreciate all of you. Great questions. And some of the ones I couldn't give you a clear answer to, I'll see if I can find something better to offer on Friday. Thank you very much. And have a great... I'm sorry?
A special shout out to Miss Heredia and Miss Stubbs and Miss Leopold.
Yes. Yeah. Excellent. Thank you so very much. You guys did a great job. Thank you. Thank you. I can't express my thanks to you. And thank you, parents, for being here and for being so thoughtful in your questioning. And I will do the best I can to find more answers. Thank you. And bye, Miss Leopold. Be safe. Give love and hugs to the children, please.
Thank you. Thank you.